Hello there. Welcome back to the JrX2 restoration series. I was ambitious. So when I started, I don't know how many videos back now, I talked about building upwards of 4 JrX2s and a JrX-T. So I've gone back and forth a few times on that, and then ultimately decided the best thing to do was to build the kits. All right, so I talked about doing that. I talked about getting the manual out and then following the manual and essentially recreating the kit by taking a bag. So here it says chassis assembly bag A. All right, so I went through the manual. Here's bag A. Is it going to be, exactly? Maybe, maybe not. Probably not. But because oftentimes then you see like there's a part that they're telling you to attach that was already attached in another step. So I could actually end up with the same part in multiple bags, which will end up being a good thing, and you'll understand why here in a second. So I went through the manual and I put all the parts in bags and labeled them according to how they appear in the manual. This container is the container for my Shelf Queen JrX2. It is the one that I'm building with the earliest version of the parts available. So some examples of that are step pin tires, the original orange wheels, but things like there are subtle differences in a lot of the parts. The motor plate is blank, doesn't have anything on it. The top shaft in the low rotating mass gearbox has that brass gear pressed on. In later versions, I think as early as the Pro, for sure the Pro SE, there was a pin in that shaft and the idler gear was slid over the shaft and onto the pin. Unfortunately, I only have one of the very, very early arms, so I'm going to put it on. Early battery strap, early shock tower with no holes in it. Chassis has no extra holes in it. It's not horrific, but it's, it's far from good, but it's good enough. So this is the one that also has the body that was a reproduction body by Team Blue Groove, and it's been painted rather than just MCI decals. So that kit's ready to go. I'm going to start with that one. First I was going, I'm going to build a JrX-T first. Like, no, because got to make sure that I go through all these parts and pull out the very, very best, cleanest parts that I have. Like some of these parts are new old stock and not used. There's another example of an early part, the side bulkhead. Later on, they changed that, added more webbing for strength. The 5-link suspension, that's the one with the 2-hole without the side braces. Later on, there was a 2-hole with side braces, 2-hole, no side braces. Boys, you can go down a rabbit hole if you want to learn the history, the evolution of some of these parts. This next one, the wheels are downstairs, but I've got original JrX2 wheels for this too. I'm actually going to have 5-step or step pin tires for it as well. Same thing, went through the manual. And then what this is like parts of equal quality to this one, or maybe slightly newer. For example, this one also has early 5-link suspension with the 2-hole without the little extra rib for support, but they're scratched up a little bit. Hubs basically new. Chassis is in real nice shape, but it has holes drilled for servo mounts. Original wing wire, original wing buttons, reproduction gear cover. So that one I'll build second. The intention of this one, as I mentioned at the end of the last video, that one will be hopefully it'll be Shelf Queen quality, and I want to trade it off for a XX. Here we got the JrX2. I got tired, man, of bagging parts. This bag is parts that are specific to the JrX2, and the rest, I'm still going to follow the manual, because I've talked about this before. I want to use the right length screw in the right spot, 3/8, half, whatever. I'll go in here to get the parts that I need to finish that. Still trying to pick the best ones, because this is going to be a shelf queen. Rear shocks are already assembled because I bought them that way off eBay. I'm going to use the JrX2 rear motor plate, not a performance, not a blank one. I was going to use the other very early battery strap, but when I opened up the JrX2 manual, well, I mean, the manual must be, it must have changed the manual maybe as time went on. I don't know. But anyway, it doesn't call for the early battery strap in the manual. It calls for the newer one. It calls for this one. So that's what I'm going to put on it. Then this is the runner. This is going to get new old stock shocks that came on the Junior 2 that I bought. So that's super convenient, because my runner was using older shocks and they would leak. Of course, all these old cars used to leak, but it would actually store my runner upside down on the shelf to stop the oil from leaking out. Chassis is, worthy of being a runner. It's got all kinds of extra holes, and the servo is on mounts. The chassis has been drilled for servo mounts, so that's fine. That's why that chassis is going to be the runner. I'm giving a lot of thought to building another one on the Junior 2 chassis, but we'll see. I realize now I'm short on shock collars, obviously, and I'm short on turnbuckles. So my turnbuckles are soaking in WD-40 because they've got some surface rust on them, and I just want to hit them with a toothbrush, nothing more aggressive than that. See if I can get off the surface rust without taking off the bluing. This isn't anodized, this is steel, so it's kind of been put in a parkerizing or bluing salts to blue them, I'm assuming. And I know one thing, if you try and get the rust off of something too aggressive, then your steel turnbuckles turn steel color, not black color. And this car is going to get, my runner is going to get like whatever parts. Since I just said I'm short on turnbuckles, those will be the steering turnbuckles. And gearbox is already built off my last runner. There they are, Doug, if you're watching. Some RPM JrX2 parts. So that's where we're at. The Shelf Queen kit is ready to go. And the reason why I wanted to do this is because if you see back there on the chair, not the cat, the RC10 back there, I want to do a compare and contrast. What the manual is like, what the build experience was like. So obviously I can't afford to buy a JrX2 factory sealed, even if I could find one. So it's the next best thing. I'm going to follow the manual. I bag the parts according to the manual. Give me a good idea what it was like to build one back in the day. I did build a JrX Pro and a JrX Pro SE when I was a kid back in the day. But don't remember. So that's what we got. Like I said, these two, I'm not building the kits. I'm just going to start pulling stuff out of those parts bins. But these two, because I really want to inventory the best possible parts, that's how I set them up. Don't think I'm going to get 4 JrX2s. I was hoping I would get 4 JrX2s, but I mean, I could, but I have to go spending some money, and there's no need. There's no need for that at all. A runner, Shelf Queen, and one to trade. That is more than enough for this vintage collector. So there you go, guys. I hope you've been following along. I hope you're enjoying this. I hope you're nerding out as I am, finding the subtle differences between these parts. Speaking of which, steering parts. The racks. Let me dig these out here. There's a difference in the length of these racks. Now, there's one here even has an extra hole. That one. That came off the Junior 2. I don't remember why it had an extra hole, but it's shorter than the JrX2 racks. And I actually checked on my JrX Pro, and the JrX Pro, I believe, is also shorter. And the reason may be the width of that chassis. The width of the JrX2 chassis up front, it's wider than the Pro, the Junior 2, and the Pro SE. So I'm going to look into that, find out what's going on with that. So that's yet another example of finding variation among the parts that I have. Interesting stuff. I love this stuff. Thanks for watching, guys, and hopefully the next one will be a build video. Bye for now.